What's up, guys? I'm Alan,
I'm Cory.
and welcome to CNA Films and Animations Animation Corner. What are we reviewing this week, Cory?
Oh, this week we are reviewing Wes Anderson's Fantastic Mr. Fox, based on the book by Roald Dahl.
Fantastic Mr. Fox is about a fox. He used to be, in his youth, a stealer of chickens and other poultry, along with his mate, Mrs. Fox. And on one of their raids of the farms, they get trapped, and she tells him that she's pregnant and that she wants him to stop being a thief. He agrees. 12 years later, he's a writer for a newspaper that caters to animals. He's
a family man. He has a son.
Yes.
And he wants to get back into the stealing game.
Not necessarily. One of the movie scenes, I thought he wanted to do one last big job. One last one. And it's a 3-part master plan. He does this whole scheming thing. Yeah, he wants to go out with one more remembering, because he thinks he won't have long to live anyway. His father lived for 7.5 years, and he's 7. Well, as him and his accomplice, an opossum named Kylie, yes, Kylie, they steal from 3 of the most dangerous farmers in the entire valley they live in. And who are these farmers?
The farmers were Bogus, Bunce, and Bean, and each have their own different characteristics. One guy likes one certain thing, and another one likes another, and they all have like different farms and everything, but they're all right next to each other. And so part of Mr. Fox's plan is to go and steal from each of these farmers, each with different supplies.
Yes.
And
each one night for each house, and just from what we can tell, that was supposed to be it. The farmers decide to retaliate against the fox, and it leads to Mr. Fox's life being in danger, along with the lives of his family and friends, as well as all the animals in the valley. It is up to Mr. Fox to redeem himself and save the animals from the farmer's wrath. So, what did you think, Cory?
Well, I have to say that Fantastic Mr. Fox is one of the most creative and one of the most enjoyable animated films of the last 5 years or so. It came out the same year as Up, and it was nominated for the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, but it lost to Up, which, in my opinion, if this movie was to lose to any other movie, I'd want it to be Up.
Yes.
But other than that, and a little side bit, I really liked this movie. I thought it was a very enjoyable, very fast-paced, and entertaining film.
Yes, it's a stop-motion film, right?
Yeah.
It's a very unique stop-motion film, I thought. It's a lot of these stop-motion, they try to be as fluid as they can. This one, it kind of, you can tell it's stop-motion, and they kind of run with it. it's not as fluid as other films, but it's not trying to be. It's trying to do its own thing. And the backgrounds are really neat. They have that old school picture book design, which is what's kind of going for with it being a story. I've never read the book at all.
Neither have I.
So I don't know how well it ties in. I had a friend who didn't want to see it because he thought it was going to suck because he grew up with the book. I think the movie is really worth at least one view. Neat characters. Mr. Fox, his wife, they're great. His son, who's different. They always do this thing, I don't know. Different. Okay. They give a little background to him. It's really neat character. The design, as I said, they play with. They play with the characters, kind of like when Mr. Fox is meeting with his wife for the trip. Right before the trip they get caught in, their last trip. Mr. Fox is like, "You're practically glowing," and then it shows like a plastic fox, and she's glowing, and she's like, "What's with the lighting? What the?" It's neat. The sound editing I thought was interesting, neat choices. How about you?
Yeah, like I said earlier, this film was directed by Wes Anderson, and it definitely has a lot of the same style as many other Wes Anderson films. You know, it's very, I'm not entirely sure how to describe it. I mean, he has his very own unique style, and it's hard to, it's hard to miss his style of the way he films shots and everything. You can look at pretty much any of his movies and you'd be like, yep, that's a Wes Anderson movie. And it goes the same with this film. And, like I said earlier, I really like this film. It's very well adapted, very well done. However, I didn't quite like all the cussing in this film.
You didn't like the cuss? You're cussing with me.
No, I'm not cussing.
You gotta be cussing me.
I'm not cussing you, man.
Don't cuss me.
I'm not cussing you.
No, you are not cussing me, man.
Man, you know what? Stop. I don't want to cuss you.
Oh, it's on. Cuss you, man. Cuss you.
No, cuss you, man. Cuss you!
Alright. Let's just finish the review. Calm. Alright. That's a little... Sorry about that. That's in the film. It's funny. It kind of gives the fact the animals all wearing clothes and not, but they still act like animals to a point. It's neat. Little details here and there, and it's like, yeah, okay, they're still animals, even though he's wearing what looks to be a smoking jacket. But that's beside the point. Let's talk about the cast. We have George Clooney giving the voice for Mr. Fox. Meryl Streep for the voice of Mrs. Fox. Jason Schwartzman for the voice of Ash. Bill Murray his voice is a badger. William Dafoe even is cast. He voices the rat. Owen Wilson's in this. Wes Anderson even voices one of them. He voices a weasel. The cast is good. George Clooney is Mr. Fox. I think he really fleshes out the voice of the character, and he really becomes the character, and it's very good. Meryl Streep's.
I actually didn't recognize it was Meryl Streep throughout the film. And until he said something, it never clicked that William Dafoe did the voice of the Rat. Rat has a couple of scenes in the film, and he plays an interesting character. I don't want to get into full details about it, but I mean, he plays an interesting character, and I didn't really fully click until he said something, and I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely William Dafoe. So yeah, it was neat to figure out who was doing different voices and everything.
Yes, this movie, while we really enjoyed it, the animation's nice, the story is good. Box officely, this was a flop. It cost them about $40 million to make, roughly, and it made about half of that.
Yeah, about $21 million.
Yeah, it's a good film. It just didn't get love in the box office,
which is unfortunate, to say the least. It was a very good movie.
What would you give this film at?
Yeah, I think I might give this film. I think I'll give this film an 8.5.
8.5. All right. It's good. It has a unique animation, a good story. Yet again, I don't know how close it ties in with the book. Characters are nice. The action is cool. I give it an 8.2. It's a nice animation, as I said. It's a good little film. If you're looking for a film that's not been seen, I guess, a whole lot, I recommend it.
Yeah.
So guys, have you seen Fantastic Mr. Fox? Did you read the book? Did you grow up with the book? Tell us in the comments. If you have an animation you want me to see, tell us in the comments. Be sure. One last thing. Who won the poll for this week, Cory?
The winner for this week was Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes. Oh man, I wanted to do that for Animation Corner.
Well, you can join me on Friday's video, and we can both review it together.
That sounds great.
All right, guys.
Be sure to check in on Friday.
And we'll see you then.
See you guys later.